I did my crisis management project on the Fire Music Festival. So we're in a world where social media has so much influence and so much power that it can literally make or break any business or event. And in this case, the Fire Music Festival, they used such strong social media marketing campaigns, but they weren't able to follow through with what they were selling. So it ended up leading to a total disaster. Um, Basically, an entrepreneur by the name of Billy McFarland and a rapper Ja Rule, they were flying over the Bahamas and they had to stop at the Great Exuma Island to refuel. And while they were there, they came up with the idea that they should host a music festival on that remote island. And they said, quote unquote, that it'll be a life changing music festival. And before they even started planning it, they hired all these really strong social media influencers, such as Kendall Jenner and Bella Hadid, to promote the festival in their Instagram and Twitter. So they made this really intricate music video that promoted the festival to make it seem like an event that couldn't be missed. And this is it.
The actual experience exceeds all expectations, and is something that's hard to put into words. All these things that may seem big and impossible are not. It gives people that type of energy, that type of power.
So McFarland said that this festival was supposed to be the Coachella of the Bahamas and something that you couldn't miss. And it's going to be a 2 weeks of a life changing experience, which everything that they grasped in that video basically, I don't know, they made it look absolutely insane and like an event that you don't want to miss. And they put tickets on sale. So one day ticket or day tickets were sold for $1,500, and the VIP tickets were sold for $12,000, which were they included airfare, meals from celebrity chefs, and luxury, eco-friendly tents. They called them villas. That those were all promised, and they said that you'd be running around the beach with all these models, blah blah blah. They even said, if you didn't catch it in the video, right here they said it was once owned by Pablo Escobar, which they quickly discovered that that was a total lie. But anyway, judging by the way they advertised for this and endorsed with such idolized celebrities, that it can be understood why consumers would not think twice but to buy a ticket thinking that this was legit. So once concert goers, they took the plane from Miami to the Bahamas, and once they got there, they quickly escorted them to a makeshift party. And I guess you can realize now that that was actually to delay them from going to the actual concert grounds, because they knew that they weren't ready at all for people to come. Um, but once they finally got to the grounds, they realized that it was a total scam. And instead of the luxury villas, there were um, half built tents. And instead of the gourmet food, they had to go boxes with 2 pieces of bread, lettuce, and a piece of cheese. And then later that night, only one performer showed, and that would turn out to be the only performer out of the dozens that they promised. One, like the main headline was Blink 82 or 182, and he ended up tweeting that Thursday, which was April 27th, which is the first day of the festival. They tweeted, regrettably and after much careful and difficult consideration, we're going to let you know that we won't be performing at the Fire Fest in the Bahamas this weekend and next weekend. We're not confident that we would have what we need to give you the quality of performances we always give to our fans. So they realized right away that this festival just wasn't going to happen. And good for them for sticking to their morals of how they like to present themselves, and they're not gonna stoop so low as what the Fire Festival staff was doing to the thousands of fans that bought tickets. But anyway, they here's a video that compares the expectations versus the reality, and it's a little dramatic, but also the comparison is very dramatic of what people expected to see versus what they actually got.
The actual experience exceeds all expectations, and is something that's hard to put into words. All these things that may seem big and impossible are not. It gives people that type of energy, that type of power.
So basically, it gives you the idea that Fire Festival ended up being an actual nightmare. Um, and right after that, as soon as people started realizing what was going on, social media started blowing up over Twitter and Instagram of all these memes and stuff about kind of making fun of, but also criticizing what they were doing. Marshmello, who is a really famous DJ that probably would be at this event if it actually worked out, he tweeted this picture and said, "Thank goodness we didn't go to hashtag Fire Festival." And he's one of many people who posted things like that. Um, but right after, Fire Festival made the announcement that they said they're going to postpone the festival and send people immediately back to Miami. It was like a mad rush to the airport, and people people's baggage was thrown around. Everything was soaked. I guess there was a storm. Everything was destroyed. They all went back to the airport, and everyone had a flight, or the first group had a flight at 1:30 in the morning, and it was delayed for a few hours all the way until sunrise. And come sunrise, there was an announcement that all flights were canceled due to the government issuing an order not allowing any more planes to take off. So this left passengers stuck in the terminal of the Xmas airport for hours with no food or air conditioning. And it was reported that one person even passed out because of heat exhaustion. And it was totally packed, nowhere to go. And finally, later that day, people were able to get back, but it took a while. So, whether they didn't intend for this event to be fraud, it certainly turned out to be, in my opinion. If they're gonna go so far in the first video, the original promotion video, to say, quote, in the very first line, quote, the actual experience exceeds all expectations, then they better be sure to have a full business plan to ensure that they can meet their promises before they put out a video like that. And I mean, people understand that issues happen, but if they're going to plan far enough in advance, they should be able to see weeks ahead that they weren't going to be able to pull it off, rather than realizing that it's not going to work out as people are flying into the island. And it wasn't only inconveniencing people, it was also threatening the well-being of them, considering they hardly had any food. They had little to no water supply. They had absolutely no sewage. They had no sleeping accommodations, which is all that they promised and more. And here's a picture of what people flew into. Like, the whole island was still under construction. So they should have known that well beforehand, that they weren't going to make it in time, rather than waiting for people to come to the island. But the rapper Ja Rule was one of the first people to respond. And he sent out this tweet that said, "We're working right now on getting everyone off of the island safe. That is my immediate concern. I will make a statement soon. I'm heartbroken at this moment. My partners and I want to make this an amazing event. It's black, but in all caps, not a scam, as everyone is reporting. I don't know how everything went so left, but I'm working on making it right by making sure everyone is refunded. I truly apologize. This is not my fault, but I'm taking responsibility. I'm deeply sorry to everyone who is inconvenienced by this." I mean, it's good that he said something, but it was also very contradicting that he's saying, I'm taking responsibility, but he's also saying that it's in all caps not his fault. But he was McFarlane's partner since the very beginning, so I don't see how it wasn't his fault, which I think it's ultimately both of their faults. Billy McFarlane, right here, he oversaw the event, and he ended up making a statement to the Rolling Stone to kind of explain his side of the story. Um, he said that they were way over their heads and thinking that they could handle this themselves. And in order to make up for it, he promised free tickets for the 2018 festival for those who attended, or those who bought tickets for the 2017 one. So he'll give them free tickets for the next one, along with refunding everyone and making sure all the vendors are taken care of. He also said that for the makeup festival in May of 2018, they'll be donating $1.50 to the Red Cross Foundation. And I think it could be more, judging by how much they charge for that, for each ticket, but I think it's awesome that at least they're making an attempt to give back, in addition to attempting to fix the damage that's been done, which is a solid PR move to also give back to the to some foundation. But also, he ended up getting charged for wire fraud, and so he's taken to court, and he ended up going to jail with a $300,000 fine for wire fraud, because he took so much money from all these investors, and you've already seen where all that money went. So I think it's understandable that he suffers a little consequence for that. But along with McFarlane and Rule, they're not the only ones that had to suffer from backlash